hello again, KCIW listeners, and welcome to Curry Café. I'm volunteer Rick McNamer with your host, Ray Gary, KCIW's own famous radio personality sitting beside me. Every Sunday afternoon, we try to put together a panel of guests to discuss topics of interest in our community. Listeners can participate in our show by texting in questions or comments to 541-661-4098. Again, that's 541-661-4098. Before we begin, I'd like to let our listeners know that KCIW is an all-volunteer community radio station that depends on our volunteers, sponsors, underwriters, and local businesses with their generous donations to keep us on the air. If you'd like to help us out, please go to kciw.org. Now here's Ray Gary to tell us about today's show.
Okay, we have two lovely ladies here who are experts on pretty nearly everything. So that's what today's show is going to be. We're going to talk about just about everything. If we run out of one thing to talk about, we'll come up with another. And if you have a suggestion, you can get a hold of us at 541-661-4098. Now, if your only suggestion is to shut up, I'm sorry, it's a radio show, and that would be even more boring than we were going to have. So,
but we'll accept the text. We need those texts.
Yeah, do send
Keeps
the
the card and letters.
We need the
coming
stats.
in.
Yeah. So let's get started by having our guests introduce themselves and maybe give you a small synopsis about what they plan on talking about today.
Go ahead, Billie.
Oh, well, my name is Billie Ruth Hopkins Furuichi. Long name. Just call me Billie. That's fine. And I could talk about almost anything, but since it is a holiday, I think the topic of holidays and all of the commercialization of holidays would be kind of an interesting thing to talk about. I am an artist and a musician and a writer, and I think of late I might call myself an expert in critical thinking and decision-making.
Ooh.
It's not woke.
I don't even know what that means.
Maybe that's one of the things you could explain to. I have a T-shirt that says "woke" in big letters, but
I don't know what
I'm
it
only
means.
about halfway there. What's so bad about it? What's wrong?
Yeah,
with it?
well, it's become a very politically
It's a pejorative these
charged
days.
term.
Incorrectly.
Incorrectly, because
For sure.
really being woke in the vernacular simply just means being awake and aware and realizing what's real and what's not real.
That's
so,
exactly what it's about. But there's a whole group out there who don't think
believe
we should do that.
well, let's have Shirley introduce herself.
We
Oh,
will.
all right then. Hi. I'm Shirley Hyatt, and I really have become addicted to doing this show. Believe it or not.
Good.
And we're glad
And-
that you have become
Well,
addicted
you know,
to doing this show.
Billie and I are know-it-alls. Is that a...
I think that's a good way to put it.
Anyway, we are going to bring out our alter egos from time to time, which is the ladies who know everything, and can solve all your problems. But yes, I have a couple of shows on rerun here on KCIW, and I also am a musician and a writer and an artist. So all things. And today, I think we're going to talk about the national holidays and why we do them and what's wrong with all of this stuff. So that's my spiel.
Okay.
Over to you, Ray.
All right. Well, we all know, this Memorial Day is coming up. Or is it today? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the
I know.
actual.
And we all know what Memorial Day means. It means that 55-inch flat screen television you've been lusting after is on sale today. Because is it a big football game today or golf? What's the big game today?
I'm done with sports, so that one I didn't know. I think football's long over.
Must be a
so-
good big.
I don't think there's a game today.
But there must be some wrestling match
this-
somewhere.
This is America. We have to have a big game of the holiday. Okay, so I thought I would just kind of briefly mention a little bit about the origin of our great country. And it is a great country, or it has been, but it's changing again. People frequently talk about our sainted founding fathers.
Oh, yeah.
They were all Christians, religious, blah, 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 blah. But when you look back, really, what was our country founded on? It was founded on racism, manifest destiny, genocide, and basically capitalism. I doubt too many. Trying to think of the best current term. Native Americans, indigenous people think that it was such a good job of carving it up.
In some fairness, though, that there has been some good that this country has done. I think we can.
That's right. We have the interstate highway system that goes.
Eisenhower did that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not even counted as a sainted founding father.
Right.
Well, he's
Ray, I do.
I forgot slavery. Slavery was another one of the big things that helped our company.
I do have to butt in just a little bit with what you said. I think part of what they wanted to establish was to get away from the idea also that the religious leader and the leader of the country were one and the same. So there was an attempt to separate religion from the state, and now we're in a place where a lot of people are trying to get that erased.
We're finding out now how wrong that was, or we want to become Christian nationalists.
Oh,
well,
boy.
they were also trying to get away from the king, to have the king be in control of the colonies.
Whoops.
They
screwed up on that one. Maybe for a while, but he's back again, man.
Yeah, we tend to have a king figure now in certain ways.
Yeah.
Because people are allowing it somehow, which baffles me.
Have we woken up in the upside down?
Bizarro world, I call it. Sometimes.
He ran, as I recall. People said, what was his big thing he wanted to accomplish?
Who he?
The king.
The king.
Oh, the king, yeah.
I know I should genuflect when I say his name.
Don't try.
So I don't want to get out of the chair. Anyway.
He ran on...
revenge. What's the first thing you want to accomplish? And he says, revenge. I want to get even. And now he wants to give almost $2 billion to people who he claims were the victims of revenge from previous administrations.
Well, this can get back to the original idea of the Second Amendment, because they wanted to establish a way that a well-armed militia could be able to take over in a pinch. And so now he wants to figure out how he can establish a well-armed militia by giving them all that money.
I never thought of that.
Well, hello. I thought that was pretty obvious, actually, to give all the money to the people who he pardoned, who had been the ones that attacked the Capitol.
But they suffered great hardship.
Oh,
they went to jail. Some of them lost their jobs and their families, and all they wanted to do was have a little fun at the Capitol. The president said, "Come on down; it'll be a great time."
So just so everybody knows, Ray has a tendency to be a little sarcastic at times. I just wanted to
he was, but he wasn't smiling.
In the future, you'll have to point that out to me, because I'm not so sure that I agree with that.
And jumping back to talked about the founding fathers, I don't think they certainly were all saints, but let's do a little bit of, some people might call it boring history, but we were talking about this before, the history of Memorial Day. And Shirley did bring up that originally known as, and Shirley, correct me if I have these facts wrong, it was Decoration Day to decorate the graves of fallen soldiers from the Civil War.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Memorial Day was actually, I think, post-World War I is when they started calling it Memorial Day 2. From then on, it was to honor all soldiers fallen in basically all wars.
In any battle.
And people sometimes think that this holiday is interchangeable with Veterans Day, which was originally Armistice Day to celebrate the end of World War I. So these are basically both holidays to celebrate people who have died in service of our country. Even though these wars, the Armistice Day War, which became Veterans Day, that was not a war that was happening on our soil, so to speak, but we certainly participated in it. So I don't know what the rest of the the world who were involved in World War I, what kind of a celebration they hold. But I'm sure they must because
I
it was.
believe they do.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
That would have been something to look up. Yeah.
And wasn't recently
I could Google that.
I think didn't Russia have a celebration recently about World War II?
I don't know, but this
Their victories
there's-
when they were an ally of us, believe it or not. It's hard to believe,
Yeah.
but and
they were sort of allies. They were allies that we really didn't trust exactly.
gee, I wonder
and-
why. I know. Yeah.
Well, I want to interject at this point in time and say that there are 11 national holidays that we celebrate, but not many people know that January 16th is actually Do Nothing Day. So that is another holiday. And if you feel like doing
I celebrate that daily.
Okay, well, right on.
Now, can we shop on Do Nothing Day? Can
No, that's part of the day.
No,
No.
nope.
Okay.
So, in case you've forgotten, January 16th, next time it comes around, don't do anything.
I'll remember
Be
that.
very careful.
Yeah. And Labor Day, of course, was established it says here, in the 1800s.
1911.
It says here 1885.
Oh, my goodness,
Uh-oh,
really?
we have a dispute of fact.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want
That's
to
interesting.
give us the right info, you can text in 541-661-4098. And speaking of the wars I had since the Civil War that we've been involved in. Now I have them listed again. Fact check me, please. Spanish-American War, World War I. By the way, World War I was the war to end all war.
And all wars.
Oh, yeah.
That never happened.
It fell down on the job, I
It
think.
did. World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, which of course Ray and I are most people are familiar with it.
Oh, yeah.
Persian Gulf War, Afghanistan War, Iraq War,
Iran.
Uno Mas.
Oh,
Thank
Iraq,
you,
yes,
Shirley.
Iraq.
Right, the one that's now going on, Iran. So the war to end all
That's
wars.
not a war. It's what is it?
it's a,
an
intersection
It's
around
an
for a picnic.
excursion.
or
Because
something.
if
It's
it
a little
was a war, we would have to have Congress's approval.
Well, that's
So
the way it was with Vietnam, and we never got Congress approval for Vietnam.
that
either.
That wasn't a war either. That was
a conflict.
counter-
That was a conflict, yeah.
it was a counterinsurgency.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can remember in basic training being told, and I'm thinking, thank God, I thought I was going to go to a war. It's a counterinsurgency effort.
So, is there a holiday to celebrate the ending of the Vietnam War
The holiday is, let's just forget the whole damn thing ever happened.
and the
in life.
Afghanistan War? Do we have a holiday to celebrate the end of the
Of course
Afghanistan
not.
War?
Well, I
We have
think that's
There's
memorials.
just so many blowout sales you can have a year, and we have to limit it.
Yeah, but I think that's Armistice Day and Veterans Day. All of that all
Yeah.
gets wrapped up into
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
And then, of course, we give thanks on Thanksgiving for the fact that
The
Native
the
Americans,
indigenous
yeah.
people.
Was so kind as to just move out of the way and let us have their land.
Yeah.
And then when we decided the land that we gave them had oil or coal or some damn thing on it, they were very gracious to move once again
Yeah.
to another place where they will get to stay until the
We like it over here.
grass grows and the rivers flow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
by the way, according to what I was looking at the other day, Columbus Day is also Indigenous People Day. So that's taking hold.
But
And there are people who are recognizing that
changed?
Columbus didn't discover.
because
I thought
Columbus
that
did,
changed officially.
well, they're trying to change it officially, but because Columbus did not discover America.
No, we didn't.
it wasn't lost. It was always here. So yeah.
There are already a few folks hanging out here.
But I wonder if it legitimately will become Indigenous People Day and what that would look like.
Well, wait a minute. I thought they were calling it Indigenous People Day, and then Trump said, "Oh no, we have to
Well,
bring
the-
Columbus back into it because he was the great discoverer."
That's
and all
right.
that
That's
crap.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here
Well-
again, the kind of the mucking up of history these days. We have to really dig deep to see where the real truth is. Me personally, I would prefer Indigenous Peoples Day
No kidding.
to honor their quote sacrifices and what they had to endure.
Well, they're a conquered nation.
Oh, yes, they are.
And it's very sad. And we could go down that path, which is really ugly for the most part. I used to live as a child next to the Blackfoot Indians in Montana. And my sister, I think I told this story before, when my mother would get upset with us and say, if you don't be good, I'm going to give you to the Indians, she would go, please, 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 please give me to the Indians.
Yeah.
Right.
She wanted to live with them, and she did all her life. Collected Native American folk work and all that kind of thing. But anyhow, so we do crazy things. But I wanted to point out that some of these holidays came about because of some kind of tragedy, and you can include war in that. But I want to just say a little bit about this group of women. 146 out of 400 working women were in a shirt maker's shop, and they were forced to stay in that in their workplace. And they were locked in because the owners didn't want, the managers didn't want the women to sneak out and take some piece of clothing they were working on with them and then hide it away or whatever. So they were very careful to make sure these women didn't go astray with their 16-hour workday. So at any rate, there was a fire, and 146 of these women died because they had been locked inside the building and couldn't get out. So
Shirtwaist fire.
the shirtwaist fire. Yeah,
That's right. I saw it.
I didn't know. And then where was this at?
this was in New York,
Yeah.
and as a result of this kind of thing, comes along the unions and Labor Day, which was to say, let's honor all these people who work their tails off and for little pay, etc.
Right.
And so a lot of these holidays come about at somebody's suffering,
Yeah.
So we're actually celebrating a lot of people who didn't get a fair shake, so to speak.
Yeah. Well,
And certainly Native Americans didn't and still don't.
Yeah, it's still a struggle. There have been some inroads here, even locally, a little bit. Some land that's been given back to them. I know in Humboldt County that's happened, but is it enough? No, certainly it is not for that.
I think there's more awareness, at least, of even if a lot of things haven't been corrected.
Yeah,
Like
unfortunately
people using the term Indian, which I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if that's actually offensive.
Where did that come from?
Indian?
Yeah.
Well, when Columbus landed, he thought he was.
He thought it was in India.
India.
That's
yeah.
right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so rather than say, oops, went ahead and said, oh, you must be Indian.
We knew somewhere down the road it would be changed to Indigenous people today.
So with all holiday, I mean, again, we're going to run the gamut and all over the place, maybe. But I was thinking of all of them. Do what is your quote favorite holiday of all of this stuff? Now, for me personally, I'll say Thanksgiving, only because I view that as a secular holiday, and it just really revolves around family, food, and just getting together. That would be
Who are you giving thanks to on that secular holiday?
me personally. I'm just there to see family and food.
Giving thanks to yourself.
And again, let's face it. I mean, back in grammar school, I remember, maybe even in junior high, and maybe so little, it was about how wonderful the Puritans and the Native American people got along. I sometimes wonder about that, if that's really.
Yeah, it's hard.
Really?
Well, I know. Same as, George Washington cutting down the
cherry tree. All of these myths in our old history books, now those might be the ones that we could rewrite and start teaching what really happened instead of bringing the myths. I can remember when I was in grade school of that picture in my history book that showed the pilgrims sitting there with the Indians, and everybody's
picnic
happy.
Tables. They had picnic tables.
Yep, right.
And the Indians were bringing in a beautifully
roasted turkey. Yeah, it's like, why didn't we pick up on that in those days? Wait a minute.
Because we were kids, but you would have thought the teachers back then maybe would have said, this is a little outlandish, but this is what the history.
But history is being rewritten as we speak.
Of course it is.
And it is very distressing to me If you're wondering when you see me and I'm distressed, that's why. Because we are being told lies over and over and over again. And when you tell a lie often enough, it becomes the truth to people. And so that's where we are now.
And that seems to be going on more than usual these days.
Well, thanks to our cell phones and our televisions and all that, you can reach everybody in a second, and you can tell them over and over and over again, and pretty soon it becomes the truth.
And on your laptop or on your cell phone, if the kids are clicking on things that aren't true, then they become clickbait, and the algorithm is designed such that it will give them all of the other things that are untrue at the same time. So they're self-perpetuating absolute ignorance and lies.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't know how are we going to come back from this? And it's not by establishing a clickbait holiday. I mean,
I wish I could remember who was speaking, but I saw a little bit of news of a person who was doing a commencement speech in front of a college group and started talking about AI, and the whole audience went, boo.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that same thing. It may have been Jasmine Crockett.
No,
No,
it wasn't her.
It wasn't her. Anyway, yeah.
The point is that I think there may be people who think that AI is the most wonderful thing that's ever going to happen, and there are other people who say this is the most dangerous thing that we have come across so far, and let's nip it in the bud. Well, we're not going to nip it in the bud. It's going to continue to be. However, evidently, where people are trying to build the big data centers, in the communities where that's going to happen, the people are up in arms because it takes so much energy. It takes all the electricity and the water.
And the water,
to do all of this, and it's just bleeding. Pardon the pun here, bleeding everything dry in support of this opportunity that it gives people to do funny little imitations of our dear leader throwing a comedian into a dumpster.
But
now, when your little tirade there, didn't hear a single thing that said anything about making money.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's where you have to be.
Yeah,
AI does a lot more than just make little memes, and there's a lot of benefit to some of the things that AI can do for us.
But it can be incredibly scary when you see people. I've a couple of times clickbaited into stories about different things, and there is famous broadcasters giving unbelievably great news, and I'm cheering and cheering and cheering, and only to find out it's completely fake. So I immediately went into the television to get the real news, and nobody's talking anything about what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Well,
it can be done so that you can't tell the difference.
Well, and that's why I'm sort of stamping my psychological feet all the time about things like this, because even if you can do something doesn't mean that you should, Mm-hmm. And I think for all the value that we might receive, there's such a negative side to it. That's
for AI.
It's like
time will tell.
Brandy is good for you if you just fainted, but not if you, take it on a regular basis.
Brandy might be really good for a cough if you take little sips at a time. I heard a ding on your phone.
Well, yes, and thank you. We have a text. Thank you, texter. And it says, unfortunately, I'll read it. It says, is there going to be a memorial service at the port tomorrow? All I can find is a flyover at noon tomorrow by a T-34 and EMS helicopter. Now, I don't know the answer.
We know that it's going to be there. We just don't know the time.
Okay. So
anybody out there knows the time?
Text in, please, if you can answer the question from this person. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Texting in. Oh, there's got to be a memorial service.
Yeah. Oh, there is. We know that.
We
know there's a flyover.
I thought the
last year,
flyover had
from what
been
I was told, it was attended by over 100 people. They had seats in there. I went one year and there was about 30 people there, and we all just stood up while the local politicians gave their little political talk. So I don't know what it's going to be.
So yesterday's parade, you didn't hear anything about that memorial service down there. Nobody advertised it in any way.
And let's go ahead and give a shout out to yesterday's parade.
Right, yeah.
Mr. Ray Gary
Was I excited?
donated to his beautiful powder. Would you call that powder blue?
No, we call it Thunderbird blue.
Thunderbird blue.
Oh,
And I would like to thank our volunteer Linda Horton for riding along with Ray through the parade.
Yeah,
And also
and
Mr.
whipping up
Jacques-
the crowd.
And Jacques Kepner was walking alongside.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Now, can I really take from that he donated his Thunderbird to KCIW?
For an hour.
Oh, okay.
But this morning I backed it out of the garage and the power steering was making a noise.
Uh-oh.
So I drove it back in. So when I find out what that is, I'll let you know.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it may be donated.
probably some of the
Or
candy that people threw has probably got it. But, yeah.
were they throwing candy? I didn't see it because I thought that was verboten.
I didn't
Yeah.
see anybody throwing candy, but
They were throwing candy out to the crowd, weren't they?
the float that was in
And what's
front of
that
us,
about?
Oh, just being
Well, just getting
magnanimous.
the crowd.
the float that was in front of us, which is ironically a dentist,
Yeah, I saw.
they weren't throwing from the float. They just grabbing handfuls and running over to the curb and throwing them like that, so the kids didn't have to run
What
into
is
the
the
road.
point of that? What the kids candy is
It was a dentist. You have
yeah.
to maintain
Oh,
a
that's
living.
right.
on
That's
future
right.
custom.
It's about making money. I'm sorry, I completely lost.
Oh, I
track.
love the segue of making money about. So, Shirley, now, how much money do you suppose all of these holidays that we celebrate are they all about just making money,
Well, they're certainly turning
most of
into
them.
that. I think
Yeah.
we can agree.
or buying a TV set or a mattress or sending greeting cards or
I used to have a business where I sold things at gift shows, and we loved the holidays.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm looking at a list of national holidays here. New Year's Day. I don't think anything happens on New Year's Day that's really all about money, or is there?
Most people are sick in bed. Probably. That's
Okay,
why.
Martin Luther King Day. That's not a moneymaker. Valentine's Day. That's certainly
that's a huge money
That's
maker.
nothing else but that was
Gigantic.
created because there was a slack there where
Yeah.
Hallmark wasn't selling any cards.
Well, there you and Thanksgiving is a big card day. It's a money making day.
Well, now I've got
big
May
turkey
Day
day.
here, and I don't know. We used to celebrate when I was a child.
that's
May
World
Day.
It's World Peace Day.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
I've just
yeah.
got May Day here, but
See, that's why we don't celebrate it because world
Because-
peace don't make nobody no money. So
yeah, we can't have that. But
no
May
celebrate.
Day
Scratch
was
May Day off our list.
when I was a child. May Day was a time. Now, maybe this was just in the area that I lived, but we took flowers and put them as children, and put them on the doorsteps of our favorite teachers. Now, I don't know whether that was just in the area that I lived in,
That
but
is so quaint.
isn't it?
Isn't it quaint?
Well,
What year was
We
that?
no, you know
1749.
you know what we did, Shirley? We would gather dandelions, and we would put dandelions on the front porches of all of our neighbors.
Well, see, so I'm not the only one. Yeah.
That was in Denver. Yeah. Mhm.
We didn't do anything as a community, but I do remember in school they had, maybe it was in a coloring book, they showed the little foreign
maypole.
kids going around the maypole, and,
Yeah.
and it was kind of taught to us as like, they didn't say communist because at that age we didn't know what communist
But
was.
that was
Yeah.
a world peace thing.
Yeah.
That maypole is a world
Weaving
peace
of
thing.
the
the
ribbons.
weaving of
Yeah.
all the different
Yeah.
cultures.
And see, I don't know that we celebrate that anymore. I don't know. Maybe the kids do, but
boy, I haven't heard of that in a while. I can tell you.
We used to.
Mixing cultures in this country?
Yeah. Well,
no.
now okay.
When we get it all cleaned up, when we get all those others out, maybe then we can mix what cultures are left.
So I'm just having a memory about growing up in Denver, and we used to have a May Day, what we called play party. Well, all the schools got together, and every school would have a different dance that they taught in gym. And we would all have costumes from different countries. We'd all get together in the big Denver auditorium, and we all had these cultural dances. And each school had a different culture to represent.
okay. Now you bring up something that I just was enchanted with growing up, and that is that we identified people by what they wore. So the little Dutch children wore the wooden shoes, and they had the little pointy hats, and and then the Norse kids in their wool hats and everything. We don't do that anymore. Which
We didn't
I
do
think
that.
is-
Well, it was just another day on the calendar.
Yeah, everybody
The only thing I
wears
liked about it is
blue
that
jeans
summer
and
was
t-shirts.
here.
Well,
We
Denver,
never did a damn thing. I never
Denver
saw
was very,
anything.
very multiculturally aware in those days.
Well, so was New York, but evidently not the cultures that danced around the pole.
yeah, we danced around the
Maybe
pole.
the Italians and the Jews and the other predominant cultures there didn't want to do that. Or maybe they did it in the old country and they didn't want to do it here.
Well, see, so that's a holiday that maybe the children are celebrating somewhere, or maybe they're not. But think about how innocent we all were at that time, and now we didn't have any of this kind of stuff.
It sounds like the news from Lake Wobegon to me.
I love
Well,
that
it could
show.
be. It could be.
Hey, that sounds like a pretty good place to be. What I can't remember where all the children are good looking, something like that.
I love
All the
Lake
women are
Wobegon.
good
That was a
looking.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all the women are good looking.
Okay.
Yes. And the men are polite and yeah.
But it does occur to me that we have all of these holidays listed, and some of them came about because people really pushed hard to say, now we've got to do something to commemorate that, and that's Martin Luther King Day would be one of those, where enough people said this man was important in our society and our culture, etc. And so we have a holiday for him. I don't know about Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Earth Day is
one of
I don't even
those.
know when it is.
Well, it's
It just happened a
celebrating-
few weeks ago, but
It
no.
did, and it's to celebrate how we should be treating Mother Earth, but we're not treating Mother Earth very well right now.
Well, maybe that's why I don't think of it as something that's
I think,
going on.
to me, it's really one of the.
When it first started, there were huge parties and things like that, and,
Yeah.
and it just kind of slowly faded away. And the disc jockey playing all the hits at 10 o'clock in the morning has run out of something to say. He says, "Oh yeah, by the way."
By the way, it's Earth Day.
Well, I'm going to throw a little curve here and say, since we're bringing up all of this stuff and saying these are holidays that meant something to us at a certain time, and they had a lore that went along with that. Now, what's happening today is our news is getting skewed to the point where people are unsure about what's really happening or what really did happen in the past. So is there anything that we can do, us little people here, to combat that in a way, to say, let's look at the legitimate purpose of Thanksgiving Day and what really happened, for example? Are we going to get any headway at all if we start combating these silly nonsense things that have come along to say, well, no, that's not what happened. They all got along and they ate dinner together and
Or
and they
the same thing with
did each other's hair.
Yeah.
I think that part of the holiday has gone away to where it's just today's society being thankful for what we have, and all that stuff that happened or didn't happen way back when is not really part of it.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It's an excuse to go out and buy something that's on sale that somebody has spent a lot of money to advertise on TV and radio, or spend money on cards, or go buy a car at half price,
Or buy
whatever.
turkey cutouts to put in your put in your windows,
Yeah,
or have a pilgrim standing outside an effigy. Or
yeah. It's all commercialized.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Everything's
You know,
really
more than one
over-commercialized.
a radio and television personality has done this. They'll do the man on the street thing. You know, Steve Allen used to do that way back in,
think
I
we
remember
in the
that.
50s. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah. Can you tell me what Thanksgiving's all about? And of course, they cherry picked the answers, but almost nobody did
But
or anything.
wouldn't this be fun to do as a radio station?
Yeah.
You could go out there with a mic.
Traveling.
What do you
mic.
think, Mike? Can we get a remote out in the street now?
Let's have a man on the street. Ray, you guys could be the man on the street, and we could be the women on the street, and we could say, what is this holiday all about? So
Well,
tell
listen,
me, give me your ideas.
To all you listeners out there, we're a little over halfway through the show, and if you have an idea for something like that and want to be the man/woman, whatever, on the street,
Or security?
come, or security. But contact us, please, kciw.org. And I'd like to remind everybody that we are dependent on volunteers and
right.
sponsors, and we sure could use some help here. So again, go to kciw.org, and you can even have your own show if you'd like.
Yep.
So I'm going to, Shirley, along with throwing curves, I want to throw another curve way back. We brought up Martin Luther King. Another interesting, I think, historical fact that I was never aware of. Once or shortly after the Decoration Day, if you will, after the Civil War, it said there one of the early commemorations was May 1865, Charleston, South Carolina. Newly freed African Americans gathered to honor Union prisoners of war.
Now that's
I never heard now, and yeah, what a wonderful thought that is. And unfortunately, these days we seem to go a little bit going backwards with the latest the gerrymandering, if you will, of some southern states. I mean, has all this been for naught? All this wonderful.
I have a question. When
Go
did
ahead.
we start calling people African Americans? When did that phrase come into being?
Oh, I'm not exactly
after Martin Luther King was killed, I think.
No, I think it was before that. Well, it was like during the civil rights struggle before that.
I believe so.
Was
Yeah.
it?
And I think it was out of an how do I put this? An honor, in other words, because we know there were a lot of other pejoratives around to call people
Well,
of different cultures.
Things that weren't pejoratives then, like colored people. We
Well,
can't do that anymore. But we can call them people of
No,
color.
and I can
sure, 'cause
understand why. But nowadays, a lot of cultures are using that. What would you call that? Whether they're Indian Americans or Mexican Americans.
Yes. That brings up, I think, a really, really strong point in what's going on now. It seems like to be an American, we want everybody to be just straight on American, now whatever that means, because everybody came from somewhere. Let's
You're right.
face it.
Most-
But
yeah.
there are people who say, "Oh yeah, he's Italian American, or they're Japanese American, or
Yeah.
whatever." Why is it that we hang on to the origin country for these people, for whoever? I mean, am I Swedish American?
Well, if you want to be, I guess my point is I think it's kind of a good thing for them to honor their past cultures.
I grew up in New York, the great melting pot, and ethnicity to us individually was important, if nothing else, just to know it. And so a lot of Italians, a lot of Jews and Russians and things, and everybody knew what their ethnicity was. When I was drafted in 1966, I had guys in my company who had no idea what what their history was.
A lot of people
and they
still
didn't
don't,
understand why I was interested in it.
Well, that is my question exactly. Why is it that we do that with people? Everybody's an American because we live here and we were born here, but still we have this attachment to country of origin that might be back several generations. So what is it to be an American and then to say, but my forefathers came from, because everybody's did.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just sort of confusing to me.
I don't know where it got to be an issue.
Well, like deciding in order to get rid of the word slave, maybe, was to say, well, they're actually African Americans. Well, they weren't here on their own. They were brought here under duress, So
well, the same
just-
thing. But the same thing is with Mexican American, I think, or Japanese American, and I think the distinguishing line is that in my understanding of it, someone who is Mexican American or Japanese American have been here only one generation. The families came one generation ago.
Oh, okay.
And that's the distinguishing line. I mean, my ancestry goes way back to Ireland, and I wouldn't call myself an Irish American because my family didn't come over just one generation ago. So I think that the distinguishing line is when did they assimilate into our country?
To me, I'll throw in the word that has been
you're going to say
bastardized,
a bad
in
word.
my opinion.
Uh-oh.
Freedom. It's if you desire, whether you're one generation or 10 generations, if you want to be noted as that, I think it's okay. I think part of that is, let's think about the the treatment of some people who aren't. Is really anybody 100% American? I don't. Indigenous people.
No,
you can say
well,
that.
yeah, indigenous people.
But look at the treatment. The Japanese have been, with the. I can't even. The World War II. That whole internment
the
camp.
internment camps, and they're trying to
the
do
Mexican
that again.
people, the African American, this enslavement, Chinese people from the building of the railroads.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hard living back then because they were discriminated against. And maybe now is the time to say, hey, forget all. No, you can't forget about it, but we're all.
I have to say,
and that goes back to your point, Shirley, because what he's saying is exactly your point. Why do we need to assign some ancestral
meaning
to where they came from?
I don't think we should assign it but I don't see any problem at all in individuals having a lot of pride or interest in their.
Of course, it's a matter of
but we tend
freedom.
to select who those people are that we can do that. By the way, I have to say this: our dear leader was giving a speech in China, and he actually said, "I swear to God." He said, and we have so many good Chinese restaurants in America, and and the Chinese helped us build our railroads.
Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
I wanted to fall out of my chair. I'm like, talk about rewriting history.
Did he actually say?
Actually said that.
With the Chinese helping with the railroads?
Yes.
Okay, well, at least he said that.
At least he said that.
The one
but-
about Chinese restaurants.
Wait a minute. They didn't exactly get on a boat and come
They
over here
were
and say,
in-
"I'm going to come build."
I'm going to come.
Oh,
and build.
actually,
Right
right
back.
contraire.
They
The
were.
letter was sent right back, but there was a restriction against more Chinese people coming into the country.
After the railroads
railroad.
were built.
Yes, we didn't need
You're
them
right.
anymore.
That much, as a railroader, I'm
they
a
were-
little familiar
but
with
they
that.
were
They railroad him
They
into doing it. Where
they
did
were
that phrase
slave
come
Well,
from?
here's okay. I'm going to go. All
right,
You can text in at 541-661-4098 if you catch me in a
Give us-
falsehood.
So I think you should be embarrassed that you made a career out of working on the railroad. In other words, you were walking on these Chinese people's back to get where you were.
That's true.
No,
That's
no.
partly true, I guess.
Rick, I want to hear your explanation
Yeah.
of
Well,
the
okay,
Chinese
is-
working on the railroad.
As briefly as I can make it, they were having trouble finding people to work the horrible labor work that it took back then in the mid-1800s to build a railroad, especially over Donner Summit down there.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't keep people, and they finally.
Surprise.
So I don't know who it was that figured it out. I think one of the big four, Huntington or Stanford, whomever, figured.
The robber barons.
Robber. But there were some Chinese already in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and they were the ones that were starting to work. They ended up saying, "Hey, if you could get your families and people over here," that's how that started. For very cheap labor, they weren't paying them as much as the other
Of course
white
not.
folks, and that's kind of that story. Well, they ended up being
So they did
really
it,
hard-working people
but
who.
they did it on purpose. They weren't brought into it against their will. They actually volunteered.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was good. But after that was done, they were treated horribly.
Yeah.
It's like, we're done with you. We don't want you anymore. The Transcontinental Railroad was built.
we
And then
used
they
you
had
up.
and I can't remember the exact act. There was an act enacted, if you will, after that, where they were anti-Chinese. So that's
Well,
the best as I can come
We've
up.
done the same thing with migrant workers from Mexico.
Oh, hello.
I mean, they were brought here to do the labor that the white folks didn't want to do or couldn't do.
Some of us did it.
So I didn't. Who wants to lean over and pick strawberries and grapes all day?
Well, let me tell you, I picked plums as a high school kid, and I didn't like that very much.
No,
You're right. A lot of people don't want to do that work, and it's still being done by a lot of migrant workers.
Migrant workers.
Well, when I lived in Idaho, they let school out, and the kids, and I was one of them, picked potatoes.
Okay.
They had a whole month
Right.
off in October
Right.
to bring in the harvest.
Really?
Yeah, no school.
The kids? did
Yes,
that?
yes, I did it. I earned enough money to buy my own winter coat.
Well, hallelujah for that. In Idaho, that was pretty necessary.
Yeah, but you know, people are used and abused and discarded. Let's
Yes.
face it, and I was bringing this whole subject up of who's an American and why do we call ourselves Americans, and how come some people say, well, I'm Irish American, as if I'm a little bit better than you are because I came from an English-speaking country, for example.
I'm more white.
And it is part of that culture of keeping people in their place, so to speak. How dare you come from one of these countries not speaking our language and expect to be treated nicely?
And is that why Labor Day started? Was to give the foreign workers some sense of
no, but I don't
Big sheets that was the reason.
it's basically. I think that's basically to honor when the unions. Thank heaven for unions.
I think the union.
Unionized.
There were times, Shirley, I think you mentioned 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I mean, they could do that.
The company owned you. Working for the man.
Yeah. Tennessee Ernie Ford sung about it.
to the company
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I think I can think of all kinds of old movies where they depict, okay, here's your paycheck, here's your pay, but I'm taking out part of it because of the way that you behaved the other day, and you don't deserve it all. So
Right.
Or to pay the rent in the shanty house that I have you in. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Or to pay for the tools that we gave you to mine coal. It's mined for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, it's happened for.
To me, it's like a pendulum swinging. I mean, back then there were horrible working conditions. Then the unions finally made inroads, and then some people thought maybe they got a little too strong. Maybe
The
they did
IWW,
somewhere, but
yeah.
where is that happy medium, man?
well,
I think the unions
greed or
are a
power.
happy medium.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, greed and power. If you can find a way to make money, as you pointed out, Ray, why do we have a holiday if we can't make money off of it? Come on. And we are all about making money, which is unfortunate because we know in this little community, rents have gone up like crazy. And I wonder how people are going to survive when the standard for how much a house costs is not based on the ordinary person, but on the person who's in the electronics business, because we're going more and more and more in that direction. What about everybody else?
The war is going to be over very soon. I saw President on
that's
television
right.
say that, and prices are going to come down very quickly.
Oh, yes. Plummet. They're
Just
gonna
like they
plummet.
always come down very quickly.
Yeah.
Going to trickle down. That was a Reagan philosophy that never, ever worked.
Oh, my goodness.
Trickle down economics is the worst.
Yeah.
And it won't trickle down to us.
And I watch the news every morning, and they say some places gas is as much as $4.50 a gallon, and I'm looking around.
Here
Where?
we're five.
Not here.
We're
Yeah,
$5.60. We're $5.60. Yeah, but California's even worse.
But drill, baby, drill, and that's the whole thing in a nutshell for me. And the way I look at that is that he has the administration, whoever I'm talking about here, we need to keep digging for oil. We need drilling for oil. We need to keep digging for coal. They want to keep us addicted to these things rather than the windmills, which I don't know how people feel about the windmills.
Well,
I mean,
there's
are they?
controversy everywhere, but come on, the drill, baby, drill, that's a finite
Resource.
resource. Thank you, Billy.
Yes.
And
But
it's going to run out.
Well, but it pollutes. It pollutes
it's
the
horrible
air.
pollution.
And coal too.
Did
I mean,
anybody notice what the atmosphere looked like? The trip to China, what the air looked like? How
was it smoggy?
it was horrible. Yeah.
So
Nobody
I
said
thought-
anything about
I
it. But
thought China cleaned up their air.
They're in the process of doing so. When I years ago when I heard that the Chinese economy was getting to be such that everybody could own a car, and that was great. And I'm thinking, oh my God, no.
No.
But they're doing it with electric cars. And they're making these
That's right.
very
They're
good
almost
electric
all
cars
electric.
that can sell cheap.
Right.
And that may be a big factor in what we're dealing with as far as cars go.
I say bring back the trolley. Bring back the...
Well,
That's an
no,
electric,
Transit.
isn't it?
you
That's
ain't jumping on no trolley to go to work.
And have Judy Garland sing the song as you're on.
I jumped on a trolley to go to work when I lived in San Francisco.
I
But
jumped on a trolley to go see my grandmother from Denver into Golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see,
Well, I
once
jumped
the-
in my car and put the top down and drove off to work.
Oh, not when you were a kid.
Yeah, well, kid 16.
Two
I got
cars
a
in every
car.
garage. Two-car garages. We got to have. Everybody's got to have a car. Yep.
Well, come on now.
I only
Anybody
have
else?
3 cars. That's not-
Anybody else out there? We could use your comments or questions. 541-661-4098. We got less than 10 minutes left. And since we're running down a little bit, I have to get my worst holiday,
What is your worst holiday?
and it's going to be coming up the 205th. It's the 4th of July.
Oh gosh, I can't stand.
I
4th of
cannot
July.
stand that holiday
Yeah, me
anymore.
neither.
I think the fireworks craze has
Yeah,
gone
ridiculous.
way crazy, if you will.
It's so dangerous.
And this year it's going to be a big one with the 250th.
Oh,
And
please.
wait, you forgot about the fights that's going to be on
Well,
the.
there again,
on the
talk
White House
about
lawn.
bastardizing a holiday.
And,
I can't
and
stand
the,
it.
And the point is,
Yeah, yeah. Billy's hat.
I have a
That's what it
hat
is.
that says, "And your point is." What is
well,
your
this is a
point?
great American institution, and we're going to do it right on the White House lawn.
The worldwide wrestling is a great institution.
It's not wrestling, Billy. It's
What is it?
fighting. That's
Fighting?
where they
What do you mean?
Get,
Well, this
there
getting pretty
appears to be
brutal,
no
isn't it?
rules. I've been in more than one restaurant where I'm trying to eat, and this stupid thing.
Yeah.
These
they
guys
gonna
they're beating, hold them down, punch them in the face,
Bare
and
knuckle
beat 'em.
fighting. That's
It's street fighting.
Mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
MMA. Well, it's a big fad. It's going
Yeah,
pretty
go-
good, I guess.
Why is
Go
it
over
that-
to any restaurant here. It's probably on the screen.
Well, good heavens.
It
makes me wonder
Wrestling
why-
would be professional wrestling would be bad enough, but this is just beating each other up.
Yeah.
And
And
what is
people
the
like to
point?
see that for some reason.
What's the point?
Oh, it's popular.
Because our
Why?
president thinks watching people get beat up. Years ago, they changed the rules of football. I don't know anything about football, but they did some minor things to make it less likely that the football player would get injured. Mm-hmm. And Trump stopped watching football. It's not even worth it anymore. They've made it a little girl.
I never saw him don a helmet and pads, though,
No.
either.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I guess it's to perpetuate the vitriol that he likes to see
Men.
in the
Men.
entire society. He likes to see us fighting with each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are.
And
It's
we
just,
are.
It's just his crude idea of entertainment. It's like his idea of decorating and every other damn thing. He used to go to he was a big WW
Yeah, I know.
whatever
Well,
fan.
That's where he got Linda McMahon.
Yes.
And she was the wife of the
The WWF
W-
Ed,
yeah.
Ed McMahon. Hello.
no,
That's
what's his
Johnny
name?
Carson.
What is his name? What was his
Vince
name?
McMahon.
Vince McMahon, yeah. And she was, I saw something about Linda McMahon having an actual hair-tearing fight with her own daughter in one of the wrestling
Yeah.
matches. She's a terror, that woman.
Well, I think that
I don't even like professional boxing with his rules.
No, I
I
can't
don't
stand it.
understand watching people beat. I one time, I'll make the story quick because it's short, but anyway, years ago in Anchorage, I was in town with a friend of mine. We were on a business trip, and it happened to be the night of the big fight. And he says, well, we got to find a bar where that's playing. And we went from bar to bar to bar until we found a place where it was. And fortunately, I don't know how we did it, but we bellied right up to the bar, and this big screen television, which would be considered pretty small today, I guess, is right in front of us. And these two guys come out, and they start fighting. And the one guy is bitterly losing. He is being pounded into the mat, and all these idiots drinking beer are booing him and say, "Oh, you bum, get out of the..." And they would do the reenacting slowed down things where they actually lift the guy off the mat when they hit him. That's how hard they. And this guy weighs, I don't know, a whole bunch of pounds, and then they're showing
way to put that.
A whole bunch of
the
pounds.
jaw being dislocated and blood and snot.
Well,
And the people in there are all cheering or booing, and I'm thinking, this guy spent his whole life to get in this fight. This is the big moment of his life, and he's losing badly, and these people have nothing better to do than to boo him. And why do we have things where the entertainment is to beat each other up?
well,
I don't have a clue.
I have to admit, back in the day, I was a big Muhammad Ali fan. boxing, and I thought he was funny and smart, and I loved.
He was. That was the heyday of boxing.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
But also, they forced us to take boxing in junior high school.
Really?
And I would have been the guy getting pummeled.
You're
Yeah.
kidding.
And oh no!
In junior high school?
Oh well, we had the face mask and the
Yeah,
gloves.
yeah.
And let me tell you, I got pummeled pretty good. I'm not a boxer.
Is it basic in mankind, the desire to fight?
Unfortunately, Shirley, I think part of that is true.
There's a
Just
good
hard.
I
topic.
mean, it has to be. Look, like I said, Billie, and Shirley, that mixed martial arts it's brutal to watch, in my opinion. I don't watch it. I'm not a fan anymore of boxing either.
But
As far as history is concerned, mankind has always found somebody to call the enemy and to go after.
We're warlike.
And so we are warlike people. We need to be the winner. And if you're the conquered person or the conquered nation or whatever, hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I think this would be a good topic for you and me to discuss sometime about the genesis of this type of mentality that we have to fight each other. I don't know if it's just a male tendency or if it's a male tendency or if it could be traced through the ages to both male and female. My guess is it's male dominated, that tendency.
Really? Yeah, it is.
Okay. Shirley has said that in disbelief. And I believe that too. But there are
tell you
females.
what, we will talk about that.
That could be a good topic for the therapy ladies here.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll do our own thing.
Looking at all the little tribes and indigenous people around the world, aren't they all male dominated for the most part?
For the most part, and I believe the battles have been going on forever. I guess my thought is, gosh, you would think by now, the Darwinian theory, shouldn't we be above that by now?
Yeah, you
We're
would
not.
think so. Well, remember Lysistrata was written about this in the Greek, you know the Greek play Lysistrata, where all the women decide to get together and not give their men anything in the bedroom until they agree to stop fighting. So
That would work,
So I think the Lysistrata syndrome needs to come back into our.
Well, ladies out there,
Yeah.
you're listening.
We will talk more about that.
Golly, man. Well, we've sure covered the gamut from holidays to...
Well, happy holidays, all of them.
Happy
Yes,
holidays.
and go out and spend your money at
Yeah.
every commercial establishment that you can think of
Well, and
tomorrow.
I guess
But
part of
that
that...
big screen television is more complicated than you think it's going to be. I had to hire people to come in and show me how to work it, and I still can't work it.
Oh,
And celebrate all the holidays by buying a mattress or
Yeah.
flowers for whomever.
Or an electric car that will run itself. I know somebody who's got a Tesla and it runs itself.
yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then you go buy a bottle of wine and come home, or you? No.
I don't know. I guess you could.
It will get to that though.
It
will
will.
get to where you call the store and say, "I'm sending my Tesla in.
To bring
Put
me
it
a
on my
bottle of-
account."
Yeah.
Or just have their drone drop it with a little parachute
Exactly, yeah.
attached and down it comes.
Oh,
Well,
the good old days.
We
Oh,
are
the good
running
old
out of
days.
time. I
Yeah.
hate to say it. Always have a good time with Billie and Shirley here.
Well, we
And
enjoy being
thank
with
you
you
guys.
guys. You
And-
guys are the best.
Well,
We'll think up something
Yeah.
to do next time.
okay, I'm sure
Yes,
you
we will.
All right. Listeners, thank you, the one texter. We're certainly hoping for more in the future. But okay, thanks everybody. And you're listening to KCIW LP 100.7 FM here in beautiful Brookings. Thank you all. Be back next week.
Bye-bye.